What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about LCX today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are on the 17th of April. We got about 7 hours, 8 hours left in the day, sitting at about 12 cents now, chilling at this price here. Daily RSI is looking like it's rather sad, rejecting the 50. Each time you reject a 50, you come down and interact with this oversold area, and you see lower lows. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. We're looking for this to be the low, but we do not know yet if it is, right? To confirm this as a low, what we need to see, I think, from a relative high to a relative low standpoint, and you know what, let's actually just take the overall. Let's do the overall high to low here. What I would at least need to see first is prices above 15 cents, then 18 cents, and ultimately, I suppose to confirm that this is the low, get above these highs here at about 20 cents. So until then, we're at 12 cents now. We don't know if we found the low or not. It's very possible we could go lower, but from the relative high to low, you are at the 069, the pink line here, finding support potentially, and we'll draw some other fibs on here that might make sense out of it too. Let's see here, hold on. Putting it right at that line. We delete this fib scale, the massive fib scale that we have. I'm going to delete this low here as well. And you can see that you found resistance here before, where you potentially could be finding support now. Resistance there, support throughout this area. A little bit of a wick, a little bit of disrespect below, but generally support most of the time. Support right there. Hey, look at that. A little bit of support here. Turbulence overall, kind of less respected, but more relatively speaking, it has been respected more so. And in the past, even more so, it has been respected as well. But I think this is a fine area to find support, even now at 12 cents. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Again, with the daily RSI, oftentimes this only indicates, at least since December, it's only indicated rejecting off the 50 that we would go below the prior low. But we'll see if that happens. From that relative low to this relative high, you're also right now at the golden ratio, right there at the 618, right? And with the golden ratio, it's very common to find support the first time, but then you find resistance here, and it's very common to go lower. So lower as in the 786 or 886. So what you need to do if you want to look bullish and you want to hold this area as support is you need to come back up and close above the golden ratio, which you just might do. Don't I have the countdown to close on? Maybe it's just not the right hour. I think it hasn't adjusted yet for whatever reason. And that's fine. But closing, I guess you did not close above the golden ratio, and that's fine. Closing above the golden ratio here, though, would be a big deal. So closing above about like 13 cents, I think, would be a big deal on any aspect, 4 hour or daily or above, right? Until then, I suspect that you could go down to 11.5, 11.2 cents, somewhere in that area. Find support there. Get back above 12.07 cents. Get back above, or I guess, sorry, I said 13 cents. I should have said 12.1 cents. Get back above 12.1 cents. Continue to grow. Get back above this high over here all the way up at 20 cents and validate this area as a low. Until then, it's very possible that we could go lower. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I don't think that you will see a lower low than this, but if you do, that puts you at 10 cents to 9 cents as a possible target area, and you could go down there and achieve that, right? See another lower low in this series of lower lows. But as long as you're above 11.2 cents, I think that you're fine. And especially if you can start closing candles above the golden ratio. I mean, this candle, next candle, whatever. If you can close candles above this line here, you're doing fine. Because, again, this kind of area, this kind of reaction would normally dictate that you go down. So if you do something outside the norm and you start to recover, you find support here instead, that could trigger a bullish case of events that sends you to higher prices. Let's talk about the higher prices now, okay? So ideally, you found your low here. Ideally, this is a higher low. If not, you got a little bit lower to go, but ideally you would hold 11.2 cents, right? Get some kind of higher low to form, maybe a double bottom or something like that to form. Find support in this area. Okay. And then from there, you'll build. And you'll break out of this long descending channel to the downside. You'll break out of that. And 20 cents, I was saying, would validate it on a fib perspective, on a price perspective. 20 cents would validate this as a low. But I'll take it a step further, actually. I think that looking at this as a trend, I would say getting above 15 cents will validate you as low, because, and not just getting above it, but closing above it on a daily basis. If you can close above this on a daily basis, above about 15 cents there, I would say, and let's raise the bar a little bit, actually. Let's say 16 cents. 16 cents, then you validate your low. 20 cents if you want to be strict about it, but 16 cents, 20 cents, whatever. You close above there on a daily basis. Close above there. Don't wick above there. Close above there on a daily basis above 16 cents or 16 cents and higher, and that validates your low, okay? Whenever you do validate your low, whenever you do break out of this downtrend, whenever you are realizing higher prices and taking back the throne to the upside. You will see an immaculate, massive breakout to the upside, man. This thing only knows one pace whenever it comes to the upside, right? It's a very, very fast pace, right? Every single time. Very, very fast pace. So when it comes time for this thing to move up, and I think it's very, very soon that it'll move up, it's going to snap back really hard. From this relative low to this relative high here, you're at your 786, 886 area. Okay, right there, 15.4 cents. That would also validate the low. Yeah, so 16 cents, that area is definitely a big deal, I think. But I don't think you go any lower, right? I don't think that you go too much lower, if at all lower. It could happen. It's something that we accept as a possibility, but it's not what I'm calling for. From a high to a low here, last cycle, back in 2021 November to 2022 December, we haven't broken out of this high yet, and when we do break out of that high, I think you're going to make a rapid expansion to $1.30. That's your minimum target here, right? You're at 12 cents now. I'm talking about a rapid expansion to $1.30 being your minimum target for this next move whenever it comes to it. Okay, you've been consolidating here for quite some time, for about a year now, a little bit over a year, right? Consolidating here, a year and a half almost, actually, right? A year and a quarter, closer to a year and a quarter, I suppose. Consolidating here, when you break out of this, you're going to get a nice follow through. When you break out of this, you're going to get some momentum promoting more follow through, right? I very much do believe that $1.30 or more is on the horizon. Okay, here we are at 12 cents now. The expectation is that by the end of June, you'll see a move, a massive move, man. By the end of June, that takes you all the way up here. It's going to be fast, right? And if anybody's looking at that and saying, well, that's just crazy, man. That's a very fast move. Well, it's moved at this pace before. It's moved at this pace for a longer rate before. It's moved at this pace before, right? It can move. LCX can move at a very high pace, especially when you take into consideration that you're breaking out of a year and a quarter long consolidation phase and you're breaking out to new all-time highs. Absolutely. I think you could see $1.30, if not higher. I don't think you're going to go all the way up to the 1618. This is the top of your kind of primary target zone, the 1618 to the 1272. I don't think that you stop there. I accept it as a possibility, but I think that seems a bit unrealistic. I mean, that's a 30x from here, from the current price. I don't know if you see that. It could happen. I accept it as a possibility. This is crypto. Crazier things have happened, right? I mean, if we look at this from the, let's just go from the low, not even from like the bottom, but just this low of where like the start of the move actually happened to the high here. I mean, that was only a 10x, right? Only a 10x. I have a hard time seeing you do a 30x, right? 3 times that amount right there. But I could see you doing something a little bit more than a 10x. Maybe an 18x, a 17x, something that's just above $2. It's very common with the 1-for-1-4 to go just above it. So oftentimes you'll hear me call for prices that are just above the 1-for-1-4, not right at it. If it's at $2 there, then I would think that just above $2 would be a potential target area. Okay, so just above $2 there at about, let's just say, yeah, sure, 230, fine. That's fine with me. And if not, the minimum target would be the 1272 there, which is about an 11x. Instead of a 10x, it's an 11x. So I'm game for that. I think that makes sense. You're probably going to see the biggest move that you've seen in years, right? This whole cycle, it's going to be the biggest move you've seen all cycle. And again, what's the logic behind that? You're breaking out of a year-long consolidation phase. Okay, you're breaking out of a multi-year long all-time high position, right? And the minimum target there would be right here. So I very much believe, I mean, if you could see this, if you could see that kind of growth here in the midst of just figuring things out, I think once you've actually solidified that you are breaking out to new all-time highs, I think that you could see this and more. So being here at 12 cents now, the expectation is that you could go a little bit lower from here, just a little bit lower. Maybe you go as low as 11.2 cents. Was that the area? What was it? Low to high here. Maybe you could go as low as 10 cents even, right? And that's fine. Oh, right. That's what we were talking about, was this fib. Sorry, on the 4-hour time frame, right? Low to high. Yeah, 11.2 cents. 11.2 cents. If you go below 11.2 cents, then maybe 10 cents is your next area, but I doubt you go too much below that. It's not completely convincing yet that this is the low, but I am theorizing that is the low. If we could close this above, if we can close the price above 16 cents, above 15.4 cents or higher, we essentially validate this as a low. We validate the notion that we're breaking out of this downtrend that you've been in since December, and validate the notion that you are on your way to new all-time highs all the way at $1.30 or beyond, likely beyond by the end of June. That's the expectation. Okay, so I've got nothing else for you guys. I think I've said everything that I need to say. LCX is a very promising token. It's not my largest hold. I don't have the biggest position in it, but I do have a sizable position nonetheless. You're finding support here at a very key area of resistance and support throughout this whole kind of phase here. Higher lows overall, and you've got this flat top here. I'm not curious as to what's going to happen. I'm very, very much convinced that you're going to see prices probably that are very, very near $2, if not just above $2 or just below $2. But that's the expectation. So I got nothing else for you guys. Oh, let's actually talk about the end of the cycle before we end the video here, because I've been doing that a little bit today on various coins. I know people appreciate that. It's been a little bit of time since we talked about LCX. So here at $114 million in market cap valuation. That's some pretty low volume. I'm not going to lie. I don't like that. That's pretty low volume. But that doesn't mean that you're at boring times, right? It doesn't mean that you can't perform well. You can. But being here at about 114 million, let's call it 115 to make the math a little bit easier. $115 million market cap, okay? If we were to see a 100x, that would put you at about a $11.5 billion market cap, a 100x. A 100x from here would put you at about a $12 price. Right? It's very attainable, very, very achievable. We're talking about a market cap that's not even at $15 billion. It's not guaranteed just because it's at a relatively low market cap. And don't get me wrong, billions of dollars in market cap valuation is not a low number in itself, but it's an achievable number. We see coins, there are coins last cycle that nobody remembers this cycle at all, that nobody cares about at all, that saw 20, 40, $50 billion market caps last cycle. You know what I mean? This calling for 100x from here, that only puts you at about that only puts you at about an $11.5 billion market cap, right? That's not asking the world. 100x is not a small ask at any stage of the game, right? That's a big order. That's a tall order. And a 100x would put you at about a $12.10 price, right? That's like up in here. But it is attainable. Even more than that, I would say a 200x is attainable. A 300x is attainable for this kind of thing. So when we're talking about all-time high potential here, you guys, I'm talking about prices that are, worth tens of dollars. So something that could be above $30 even is possible. I don't know if we reach $71. That seems a bit intense to me. But if I had to guess where you're going to stop by the end of the cycle, you're at 12 cents now. My expectation would be 365 at a minimum, to something that's around, if not just below, $30. With the 2272, it's very common to go just above that. If that's at $25, maybe we do go to $30 or even just above $30. But at that rate, we're seeing some pretty intense growth, right? From the current price up to there, I mean, that's a 200 and something X. We could go all the way up to $71. That's a 500X, but I don't see that happening personally. I think that we're pushing the barrier here at about $32 at about a 264x right there, and we're also hitting the minimum standard in my opinion at this 1618 to 29x. That's about average with what I would expect the average altcoin to do. So minimum standard 365, maximum standard I suppose would be $71, but personally I would think more so about like $30, something in that kind of area there. 365, $3.65 to $30. That's your target area. It's a very big range. If I had to feel confident about any of it, I think you will see prices above $10. I think you will see prices above $20, but how much higher do you go from there? I don't know. So we'll just see. Time will tell. And I really think that after this next move, we'll have a better understanding of where we're going to go. If we exceed my expectations, we go above $2. Hell, man, maybe we do go above $40. If we don't even hit 75 cents, well, then we've got some rethinking to do. Okay. But that's all I got for you guys for now. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Bullish as hell on LCX. I think it's had a great opportunity to buy right now. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think it's a great opportunity to buy here. And we'll see how it goes, man. Finding support at prior areas of resistance, very, very key area to buy. Down at the 786, 886 area from this overall low to this high here, perfect area to buy. Literally like scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Yeah, take it easy.